Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you a few things about decorating the cookies. You can also go online to YouTube and find all sorts of videos, but this will show you essentially things that will fit with the sheet that of instructions that we've sent out. So make sure that you've got everything together. You will have three bags of icing. The white, which is a thinner consistency, that's the flooding. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but that is to spread across the whole surface of the cookie. And the red and the pink are thicker and they're good for decorating, writing or shapes or whatever, and I'll show you how you can use those. You want to have some toothpicks, and some wax paper that you can set your cookies on for decorating, a little bit of damp paper towel to wipe off the tips if you need to, and then you're good to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I use the white to flood or fill in the cookie. I've already cut the tip and you'll see I cut it very small. You can always cut a little more if it's too narrow, but if it's too big, the icing will come out too fast and you won't have control. So I'm going to start with the round cookie, and all I'm going to do is just start squeezing out the icing and just move around. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just moving it around in a circle just to outline what I'm going to fill in. And once you've done that, you can just start filling in, squeeze a little bit harder, and you can do a back and forth motion if you want, just to fill in a little bit more. And don't worry about getting it all in. This is where your toothpick is going to come in. So all I do is I take the point of the toothpick and just kind of swirling it. You can see that I swirl the icing so that it starts to fill in any spot that doesn't have icing. Okay. So, and you know, I've done a lot of cookies, so I may go quickly, but you can go as slow as you want with that. And then once you've done that, I usually just tap the cookie a bit, move it just gently, and you'll see the icing smooths into a very smooth surface. It's one of the nice things about this type of icing. Now you might notice it's not a big deal, but sometimes you might get an air bubble like this one right here. And so you can just poke it to get the air bubble out, and then it won't be there when it dries, but I don't worry if I have a few of those. So that's the flooding part. Then what you want to do is, I talked about wet on wet, and that's when you're going to put some icing on top of this already wet icing, and so it will sink in and make a pattern in the icing. So I'm going to take the red, and again, and I would start really, really small with the tip. So it's really not very big. And you can always, you see, I put some even on your wax paper to see how that feels, if it's big enough. One of the easiest things to do is polka dots in this wet on wet. As you'll see, I'm just putting polka dots in, and then what I can do is, if I tap gently, that's going to sink in. So all those dots are going to sink in, and you can end up with a nice pattern that way. If you wanted, you could make hearts out of this, and it's very easy. You just take a polka dot and you take your your toothpick, start at the top and just drag it down like this, and then clean your toothpick. And as you can see, you're left with a heart. So you could do this, and you know, you can do them any way you want. You can swirl them. They don't all have to be going the same way. And again, they don't have to be perfect. You could even swirl the circles if you wanted, and just do this and sort of make some kind of fun shapes, almost make it look like a rose even if you wanted, or whatever, or a curlicue. It's up to you. I love the fact that everybody seems to, you know, everybody's cookies that they've done in the past have been so original. So that's sort of one example of wet in wet. I'm good to, maybe we'll stop.